Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna talk about intelligent traffic signal and specifically its emergency for emergency vehicle. So first, I'm gonna talk about a little bit introductions. Let's talk about the directions in simulation. We need to put the proper names in the simulations for road and nodes, right? So we use EB, stands for eastbound, which means traffic moving from west to east to implies the directions, right? And then the other terminologies here. Let's say we want to create this network, and then we have almost 6 type of junctions or intersections per se, and then we call those as a node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these are the directions between node 1 and 2. The eastbound, like this, goes towards right. Westbound goes towards west, right? And then also the other things, let's say between node 2, 5, right? Southbound is the direction to the south. So this road here, we name it as a node 2, 5 southbound in the simulation, okay? Okay, so let's open a Google and then search roadway VR GitHub and then open this page and then go here to the SUMO traffic simulator tutorial, or alternatively you can just copy paste this link and then find it in the video description. So make sure you give 1 star here to me. It will help for supporting the projects. And then open this Tracy4 and then download the raw file. Once you downloaded the raw file, then go to download and then create a folder called Tracy4 and then copy paste the codes here, right? So I'm gonna just copy paste again the codes here. And then open this Python code. So make sure you have already installed Python and also Visual Studio Code, which is free. And then you will observe this type of window on the right side. Simply run, then you will see this error, okay? The reason is we don't have any files here. Then it will keep running, if you see, because we need to stop running the code. So basically the code is trying to call a file which is test1, which we don't have it here. We need to provide that file. Okay, open a net edit. Then we're gonna create the network as I showed in the PowerPoint. File, new network, and then create a simple network like this. Then here, here, and then here. Press F5 or simply go here, compute junctions. Then select this link here if you observe, and then select this one, this, and all the edges. Right click, go to the edge, and then add reverse directions. Again, F5, then you will observe the network, right? Press escape, okay, on the keyboard. So now the first thing is, again, we need to put the proper naming, right? Node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say this is node 1. So first click on this magnifier on the network magnifier and then select these junctions. Put the node 1 here, right? And then node 2, then node 3, node 4, node 5, and node 6. before doing anything, the first and most important matter is save. So click all of these saving functions there. Okay, make sure that you put the exact directory here, right? And then put the name as a test. I'm gonna put as a test1. Okay, just make sure that you put the same name, at least for this exercise. Okay, so if you go to the file, now you have a bunch of files here. So let's then again select this one, and then we changed the ID already, right? Just make sure, double check that these are node 1 to 6. So then the next thing is these directions. Let's add those things too. So select on this link, and then here in node 1, 2, it goes towards east, right? Eastbound. Then you can copy paste this, and then for this one we can, okay, we cannot paste it, I guess. Copy paste. Okay, so we need to write it down then. Node 1 and 2 westbound, right? Make sure you don't have any space. Okay, in the PowerPoint we had, because of just, you know, it's nicer, but yeah, make sure that you don't have any space. And then here is node, so this is 2, 5, right? 2, 5, and then this is southbound because that's towards south. And then this one is node 2, 5, and northbound. Okay, make sure that you do the same exercise for all of these links. Okay, but I'm gonna just skip this step. So the next step is we need to add a traffic light. Okay, simply click on network here. This is the traffic light. Select these junctions and then press create. Make sure this TLS ID is node 2, the same as junction ID. And then this one, create, right? So what that means is here, there are some phases, 0, 1, 2, 3. If you click here, then you observe the phase number 1 is YY, RR, GY, right? What that means is if you go to the edit visualization, and then here in the junctions, select, activate this one, the index. You will see some indexes here, right? 0, 1 means this 0, right? This Y means 1. Okay, Y means yellow, R means red, G means green. So here, let's say these 2, 0 and 1 is Y, right, which is yellow right now, and then 2 and 3 are red, right? This is green, which is 4, right? And then 5 is yellow. Got it? So then that's it for the traffic light. And then this is the durations of these phases. So when we say phase 0 is the duration is 42, means that 42 seconds takes, right? Just these phases to go to the next phase. Then it will go after 42 seconds, then 3 seconds remains here, and then, you know, that's how the traffic light works. Okay, let's select demand. I'm gonna add 1 ambulances. Okay, go to this type first here, and then first we need to select this crate. So it creates something here, right? So change this to the emergency, right? And then the E is not capital. Okay, the naming is also important. And then change this V class to emergency here. Okay, and then maybe if I save it right now, so let's go here to the vehicles, and then here in parent V type, right? This is just for the type of how we want to add the vehicle input. Basically, is trip or flow, right? Let's say it's just trip because we want to add just 1 ambulances, right? And then select here, select emergency vehicle. Again, this is vehicle ID now. The vehicle ID of this specific emergency vehicle type, right? So the emergency vehicle type might have different vehicles. So the first vehicle ID, I am calling again emergency. Okay, emergency. But it's better to call it emergency 1, 2, 3 because it implies, the ID of this car. And then now if I select here, and then select here, right? And then simply finish the road. It adds some sort of car here which doesn't look emergency. So select this magnifier, select this one, and then go again to the vehicle type, okay? And then here, this open attributes editor here. Change this shape to emergency vehicles. There are some types. Let's say truck, this is the type of truck. The emergency is look like this, okay? So you have emergency car. And now I'm gonna add some other cars here. So let's say those cars are flow type, and then the type is default, sorry. And then let's add some cars also here to the simulation too. Okay, so save. So now let's just run this. If you run, then this time you don't see any error, you see the network, right? And then if I am running and then change this to the real world, the target intersections is this one right now because this is red. Let's see how if it works and then it changed to green or not. Okay, if you observe, it changed the green when the ambulances reach here, right? But I wanna change the green before that. So for that, if you go down simply here, and maybe we can decrease this value here in line 160, right? Maybe to something is just 0.0 second, and then again I'm gonna run it. Okay, so I'm gonna just increase a little bit speed, and then if you observe now, it's second 9, right? And then let's just, and then this time the traffic light turned to green sooner than the previous time, because it's when it reaches here, it's second almost 17 or 16, right? But when we go here and then select this traffic light, we can observe the duration of this traffic light is 42 for the phase 0, which means that until second 42, this phase should remain the phase 0, and then it should be red, okay? But since the ambulances get there, it turns the light to green, okay? So now let's go towards the code and talk a little bit about the code. Okay, talking about the code is a little bit tough. So that's why I prepared a template and always use this template, which includes 9 steps. I already talked about the Tracy and this template in the previous tutorials, in the Tracy quick start. So I will explain about the template. So coding or programming is similar to the baking or cooking. You need some materials, right? For the programming, you need some functions. So here on the left side, this image is coming from Tracy, right? So if you search simply Tracy in the Google, it will open this page for you. And then there are some functions, and then they call it as a value retrieval or state change. This means that the get value from simulation and set value. If you want to change the traffic lights, you need to first get the value of the traffic light and then change it, right? Okay, so right now here, this tutorial targets this part in the infrastructure, which is the traffic light here, state change here, and then infrastructures, again, the traffic light, which is this one. And then these are the proper functions, right? So this is another view. For the vehicles, we want to get these values, okay? Just read these things here. So let's say get ID list. What that means is we need to understand which vehicles are in the simulations. Among those, which vehicle is emergency? If you remember, we put the ID of emergency vehicle as emergency, right? So then for that, if you go here and then select in vehicle value retrieval, and then you will see the first function is get ID list, and then it returns a list of IDs of all vehicles, right? And then the other functions are similar. I mean, for the traffic light, for example, we get the phase and then we set the phase durations. Okay, let's go to the code now. So this code has 9 steps again using the template. And then among these 9 steps, you don't need to change anything these 5 steps. It's just, reading the something from Tracy and running your simulation. And step 9, you don't need to change it. The only ones that you need to change for every exercise is step 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so what that means is if you are doing another exercise, let's say you want to run some optimizations on the traffic signal, you don't need to change anything except step 6, 7, and 8. Step 6 is about defining the variables, right? And 7 is defining the functions, and step 8 is just to put that function in the loop of the simulations so that that function runs, right? So I put some printed functions for you to get the value. So let's first clear the outputs here and run it again. So then I'm gonna put this here. Okay. Instead of playing and running, just select this step and then click 2 times. You will see some informations here. This means that the simulation is running. You are controlling, but in a step length, right? So you are moving to the next step. And then these cars are moving. Everything in simulation is moving, right? So now we are in second one of the simulations. And then it prints some values. Let's say here, the vehicle emergency is on edge node 1 and 2 eastbound right now. Okay, here. This is node 1, 2, and then eastbound, going towards east, right? And then the next TLS, which means the next traffic light, is here, right? Which is this one. And then there are some informations like node 2. So the next TLS is node 2 then, right? Traffic light. And then that has some other informations like this G means probably green, right? But if we want to understand what this exactly means, again, you need to go here and then it's from traffic light. We are getting some values, right? So that's value retrieval infrastructure traffic light. And then here, right? So this next TLS, just copy paste this, and then here, Control F to search. Okay, so this next TLS, this is variables, right? And then we are calling something from tracy.vehicle.get next TLS. Okay, so this is vehicle, which is the emergency vehicle for vehicle in emergency vehicles, right? And then this next TLS is some functions that Tracy is providing us. Just copy paste this here, right? And then let's see where this function is. So probably it's not here. So let me see, because this function is coming from vehicle, right? Because we want to know about the next traffic light. So we need to go to the vehicle then, right? And then search here. Then you will see get next TLS. It returns upcoming traffic light along with distance and state. If you click on it, then the first thing is here. So it returns TLS ID, index, distance, and state, right? So then these are the informations which we have here. Node 2, 4, 50, 54 is the distance, and then this green is the state of the phase. Okay, which means that right now it's green, right? And then again, there is another node, which is node 5 here, right? And then the distance is, of course, is a lot, right? 94. And then it's red already, right? I explained this because I am doing some reverse engineering for you. What you need to do is just copy paste this code into ChatGPT, right? Similar to, I'm using just the normal free version, and then I am saying, can you explain this code? So it explained this code step by step. And then you can understand now in each step what is the code is doing. So if you have some questions, then ask ChatGPT about. ChatGPT is even better than me, having a PhD degree in transportation engineering. I mean, you have ChatGPT beside you, which is better than me. And then you can ask about each and every of these lines, right? Start doing it and do some reverse engineering. But I'm gonna just explain a little bit. So starting from step 6, right? We have 3 variables. So these variables is desired phase. So we have a desired phase for this guy, which should be green, right? And a current phase. The current phase, the desired phase should be green, but the current phase, let's say, is red for now, right? So then what that means is we need to check whether the desired phase is equal to current phase in the code or not, right? So what I am starting from here again. So let's say the desired phase for node 2 is these intersections, right? And then EW means eastbound, westbound. So both this direction and then this directions, right? And then NS means northbound and southbound. This and then this, right? It's easier because the traffic light has 2 main phases, right? As I talked. So one phase is phase 0 and then another phase is 2, right? So we want to change either to 0 or 2. We don't want to change the traffic light to 1 or 3 for ambulance, right? Because it's yellow. It doesn't mean anything for the ambulance. We need to put it green. So then each traffic light has 2 phases, right? So if this guy is here, right, then the desired phase should be green, right? If this guy is right now here, the desired phase for this light also, when this guy goes to this link, should be green, right? So then I'm putting 0 and 2, and I'm just moving on to the next step, which is the functions, right? So let's say here I'm gonna talk about first, if the vehicle, right, the emergency vehicle is in basically northbound or southbound, right? So if the current age of this person is either northbound or southbound, right, then return NS, right, which goes to these 2, right? Which means alternatively that if it is in northbound or southbound, right, age, then these 2 lights needs to be activated, which means that these 2 will change to green, right? Because phase 2 of this means green, right? And then for node 5 is also means green. Let's assume that this guy is here now, right? And then when it approach to these intersections, right, which phase needs to be applied, right? So these intersections here, so the phase 0, which is red, right? So this is red already. So we need to target this phase then, right? So then that means node 5, right? And then NW, which means north or NS, sorry, north or south, right? Should be phase 2, which is this one. Okay. So we are saying that to the programming. If that's eastbound or westbound, the current situations is in eastbound or westbound edges, right? Right now it's in eastbound. So this is, as if you remember, this one is right now east node 1 to eastbound, right? We are reading this. So if that's the case, then print this east and eastbound westbound, which is EW. So if it's here now, bring back this, which means that the phase 0 should be targeted, right? So moving on, here we have this function, which is just the only other functions that we have. Then we have the desired mapping, and then the adjusted TLS, and then the step, right? So if you go down, then you observe here that this function, what it does is it track the traffic lights, which is in the path of this emergency vehicle. And then if the traffic light, the current phase, right, is equal to desired phase, then it just extend the traffic light phase, right? If otherwise, if these two are not equal, which means that this guy goes and then this traffic light is red, then it changed this phase durations of the car. Basically it set the phase duration of the current traffic light, right, to only extend for 0.01, which means that this state needs to change immediately because this car is coming, right? So this is how it works. So let's just clear all of this and then let's play it again one more time. Okay, and then right now here I'm gonna just go. So in the next step, as you can see, emergency vehicle is on edge node 1 2 eastbound, right? And then the next TLS are node 2 node 5 with this, right? And then the current phase is 0, desired phase is 0, which means that these situations applies, right? We just extend the traffic light, right? So then this will remain to green. So let's move on a little bit, and then I'm decreasing this delay. Okay, here. So when the car reaches there, right, I'm going down the emergency. Then from this moment, the traffic light of node 2 remains, or back to, basically it resets, and then it goes back to the normal operation because this car is already passed, right? And then now emergency vehicle is here on node 2 4, right? And then if I go to the next stop until it completely comes to this link, right, then it starts printing some informations. So right now the current phase is 0, the desired phase is 2. These lights needs to be go to green, right? Then it immediately shorten the phase of node 5 to 1 seconds, as you can see here, right? I mean, this is 0.01, and then you can change potentialities. This is a message, by the way, it's just printing. And then after that, as you can observe, it's just printing the node 5 information because it already passed from node 2. And then at the end, as you can see, if I go to the next, you will see that the desired phase right now here is current phase is 1, right? The desired phase is 2, which means that we are in these situations now here. Okay, this is yellow, right? And then for 3 seconds is like that. We can shorten, you can stop or start playing with this, shorten the yellow time, right? And then when this guy comes here, then it turns to green. Okay, thank you very much for watching this tutorial.